We're together too much. Sorry.
Right. No doubt, no doubt. Welcome back to the Street Shaman Podcast. I am your host, Shamanic Poe, aka Poe and the Rockstar, and today I'm here with industrial punk rock, electro punk band, the God Bombs. Nola, Starr, how you doing? Star Daddy, how you doing?
What's up?
Man?
How are you? We're good.
Pretty good.
We've actually been like running errands all day, trying to prepare. We're actually like shooting a music video this Saturday with Jason Kaplan, which is really exciting. It'll be our first music video released working with him, and yeah, super exciting.
Okay, so you're running errands today. What kind of errands were you running?
I need to get like a latex thong and like and fake blood. But that's all we can tell you.
So that was like in the list. That was on the list. Like, okay, yeah, I gotta run errands today. Gotta get this latex thong, fake blood. How much fake blood? Was like a gallon? Was it like 5 gallons?
No, just like maybe like a little bottle like that.
Oh, like for the mouth and shit.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. You'll see.
Okay. You're secretive. Okay, secretive.
Most of our errands involve sex shops and lubrications.
Right. No,
And
I saw
Halloween
it.
shops.
Yo, Justin's getting spanked on like a third of your video, at least a third of your videos. You're getting spanked on. I watched you. I was like, I'm watching this guy get spanked way too much. I don't know.
It's gonna continue.
Part of you, I think, though.
No doubt, man.
More
No doubt.
blood, more spanking.
So, how do you two meet? I feel like Justin was doing his own thing. I guess he was doing the Star Daddy thing. Before that, you were doing Justin Symbol, and then like you two got together somewhere in between that, and then
I was like a well-known fire performer, circus sideshow performer in New York City, and Justin had actually moved to LA, and then he decided to come back to New York City to shoot a video. And a mutual like acquaintance in the scene had suggested me as a fire performer for his video, and yeah, that was how we met. So I did fire for Trash Fire.
Okay, so you did some fire, and then you met, and then how did you two come together? Because I mean, I'm sure Justin had other girls in different videos, and it was never, I
was bitchy to him on the phone, and I don't think he was used to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you asserted your dominance. And he was like, "Wait a minute, I like that a little bit.
He was kind of like, I think I hate this chick already. I don't know her." And then maybe I think that made him interested in me when I showed up.
Right. So it was like, all right, I kind of hate this girl. Maybe I should keep her around. Maybe we should get together.
I was intrigued by her because I had been in LA for so long that I was used to everyone being fake nice. I was used to people being fake nice and shit. And then I came back to the East Coast to shoot this video, and I was talking to her on the phone, and she was like really New York with me, And I was like, whoa, like I wasn't used to that. I'm like, damn, this girl's feisty. And then I was like, after we shot the video, I kind of slid in the DMs, and I was like, yo, what's good? Let's hang out. Come to my show. And she came to a God Bomb show, actually.
And then I wound up in the God Bombs.
Right.
Okay. So
that's how you do it, ladies.
Right. I mean, you got to show up to the show. If you want to be seen, you got to make a presence. But so you were doing the God Bombs before Nola. Like, so you was doing God Bombs. Yeah. What was God Bombs before?
The original God Bombs was me and two other guys, Jabeth Roa, who is actually producing our new album, Supernovas, and Edric Suburvi. And we toured with Ministry, and we did a bunch of like tours like Cyclone 9, Ministry. We toured a lot in 2018. And then the other two dudes left the band because they had commitments with work and shit. And I didn't know what to do. So I did the Star Daddy shit for a while, my solo stuff. And then I met Nola when we did Trash Fire. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to reform the God Bombs with you as like my co-singer,
Oh, okay. So what was the idea of that? Like, why did you feel like Nola would make a good fit? Is it because that's your girl? Are you just playing
No, I mean,
favoritisms,
honestly, I didn't know what to do because like when we started doing music together and it was really punk and it was really heavy. And a lot of it, like some of the shit we started, because it was during the pandemic. So we started talking about like social issues and stuff. And I always felt like the God Bombs was kind of a band where the lyrics would like talk about society and shit. So when we wrote all these songs about the pandemic and we wrote the album Plague Songs, I'm like, this feels like the God Bombs. And I decided to resurrect it with Nola.
Yeah, I toured with Justin. He convinced me to move to LA. And I was like, I'll never move to LA. He like tried to like talk me into it for like 3 months after we shot the Trash Fire video. And I was like, you're nuts. We barely know each other. I'm not moving to LA. So he moved back to New York to convince me to move to LA. And so then I toured with him, which is like the show that we played with you from New York to LA. That was one of the stops along the way on the tour, the show with Twisted. And yeah, and then once we got back to LA, I became good friends with our drummer Byron, which was touring with Justin as his drummer at the time for Starr and his solo project. And then me and Byron wound up going into the studio and like kind of like just getting like the framework for a couple punk songs. And then Justin was kind of like, hey, like the God Bombs is kind of like at its end with, you know, me and the guys, and you and Byron are starting your thing. Like, why don't we just do a thing together? It makes sense. Like, we live together. We're out here together, you know, like we don't know anybody. I don't know that many people, you know, so it's just kind of like let's all just stick together and like start writing together if you guys are going to do that too. Like, so it just kind of made sense.
Okay. So Nola, like, how did you get your start? Like, you eat fire, you swallow swords. Like, where did you get that from? Is that from childhood? Is that what you learned in your grammar school? Because they wasn't teaching me that in grammar school. That's some cool ass shit. I would love to learn how to fucking eat some fire.
I mean, that's kind of what happens when you get picked on when you're growing up. You're just like, man, how could I get people to like me? No, I'm just
I'm gonna eat some fucking fire on them, watch them fucking like me, right?
She saw Carrie.
No, I honestly, so like I always wanted to play like musical instruments growing up. I always wanted to or like become a singer. My mom was a singer and dancer. She used to like sing in the kitchen and dance in the front yard. And I don't know. I wasn't. Some sports were too expensive. This and that. Blah blah blah. So I don't know. My grandfather actually found this ad in the paper to do like baton twirling, which is like an old school thing that's like dying out. And so for like a couple of years, I was in parades and stuff as a baton twirler when I was little, and I wanted to twirl fire. And I told my mom if she didn't let me twirl fire, I wasn't going to go back and twirl anymore. And it was just like a cheap sport
hold up, Nola. How old were you that you told your mom, hey, look, I want to twirl fire? You were like 10 years old. Look, I want to twirl some fire.
I was actually like 8 years old.
Oh, shit.
I started like baton twirling when I was like 5. And she was like, yeah, absolutely not. But my coaches thought I was good enough at that age. I just needed like a waiver sign. So fast forward, like, I don't know, years and years later, in my early 20s, I moved to New York City, and I had found like a group of fire spinners, and I had gotten back into baton twirling. I had bought twirling batons again to busk because I was kind of broke. And so I went out to the Coney Island boardwalk and I started twirling batons and like clowning and stuff like that to try to make like a few dollars and like selling waters and shit. Found these group of fire spinners, and then I wound up getting into spinning fire, and a bunch of people there ate and breathed fire. And then it just kind of progressed. I started like learning how to eat fire. Then eventually, after learning how to spin, and then I learned how to breathe fire. And then I wound up in the Coney Island Circus Sideshow. I was there for 5 years. And my second act was the bed of nails, because that was a more simple act to learn. And then it progressed to walking on swords and swallowing swords.
Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. You said a lot, and you made it seem like it was a little bit. You just said it matter of factly, like, yeah, I just threw some fire around. Then after that, I ate some fire. Then I started to like step on shit and eat swords and just, no big deal. I was working at Coney
That's kind of how
Island.
it happens,
Hold up, though. I know it just happens when you work and you just put your head down and do some fucking work, and then you just end up somewhere, right? But
pretty much.
For other people, that's like, what the fuck? How the fuck did you do that? And then for me, I'm like, Coney Island. I remember taking the fucking train for an hour and a half to get to Coney Island just so I could have a good like beach day and shit. Like that was like one of the closest beaches near me and shit. And I was from Jersey City. So it's like, you worked at Coney Island. That's a big deal. Doing sideshow work and freak show work at the
it's a huge deal. It's really, really hard to get in there. And I just honestly, like a good friend of mine that I had grown up with, he was part of it, and so was his family. And he had wound up moving to Brooklyn, and we had reconnected because we were childhood friends. And he had found out that I started twirling fire and eating fire, and he was like, yo, I have to introduce you to like the guy that runs this place. Like, he's gonna fucking love you. And he did. And I went and I auditioned, and Dick Ziggin loved me. And I remember like him taking me in the back and reading the rules on the wall. And I was like, does this mean I have the job? And he's like, well, would I be reading you the rules if you didn't work here? And I was like, trying not to tear up because I didn't want him to think that I wasn't cool.
Right.
But it was a huge fucking life-changing moment for me. Like, it really did. Like, I was super lost. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do in life. And I had moved to New York City on a whim because things kind of fell apart for me in Philly. And I was just going through a really, emotional time in my life. It's like your early to mid 20s transitioning into your mid 20s. You're like having like a quarter life crisis. You're like, what am I going to do? Who am I? Why am I here? And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to eat fire in a circus sideshow. That's what I'm supposed to do.
No doubt. And I definitely been there. I lived my life. I was fucking tormented through my mid 20s. But what made you look at Justin and his operation and the things that he was doing and be like, okay, I'll take a chance on this? Because one thing is a relationship. Another thing is to be like, I'm going to go on the road with you and do this shit.
I guess it just it reached like another crossroads for me in New York where I hit a wall. I had been at the Coney Island Circus Sideshow for 5 years. I had been doing nails at the same place for 6 years, and I had left. I don't know. Things kind of were like really hitting a hard edge for me in New York, and they had been for quite some time. And I don't know. I think just like the synchronicity of Justin, coming into my life at a specific period of time.
Right.
If he would have came into my life probably even, a couple months prior, a year prior, and had thought I was going to come with him on tour on the way to LA, it would have never happened. I would have never left the sideshow, nothing. But I felt like I had kind of wrapped up everything that I wanted to accomplish in New York. And like I said, I kind of had hit a wall, and it was like kind of like an emotional crossroads for me again, another existential crisis, if you will. No doubt. So it just naturally kind of happened, I think. And then, yeah, like I said, I was like, I'm not going out to LA with you. You're crazy. And he moved back to New York just to, convince me that we belong together, that I should go out to LA. And I was just like, damn, this guy's pretty serious about me. Maybe we are meant to collaborate. Maybe we are meant to tour together. Maybe we are meant to do all these cool things. Let's see what happens. So I was crazy enough to take the chance. And then, I think it's just kind of like evolves into all these great like creative things with us, and now it's just turned out that we work really great together, writing music and creating videos. And you know, I don't know,
Right.
I definitely didn't think we were going to wind up in a band together. So it's just, but it's cool because it was like always on my like passion to-do list. And actually I thought it was one of the things that kind of pained me, that I never really focused on music. Circus Sideshow kind of took over my life, but it was kind of always like a thing that was in the back of my head that kind of bothered me, because music was something I really did want to work on when I first moved to New York. And it kind of got pushed to the back burner because I put myself through beauty school and focused on Circus Sideshow. So it did happen. It just happened in its own time. So
No doubt, no doubt. So, all right, I want to talk about the trip that you guys had. You just had a trip. Y'all were somewhere, like, I want to say it was Colombia, right? Was it Colombia? Am I wrong?
yeah, actually one of the original members, I'll let Justin tell you because I've been talking, but yeah, we went to go work with Jabez Roa, and it was amazing.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Justin, what was the point of going to Colombia? Like, why did you feel like that was the move for you, especially like with all the lockdown bullshit and everything that we were going on in the world? Like, what made you decide, okay, we're gonna go to Colombia and do this music?
Well, we did Plague Songs, the first album with the new lineup. We did that during the quarantine, and then we started writing more material during the quarantine. But I wasn't in a rush to just put out another record right away. We decided,
Right.
like, let's make the best, because Plague Songs was very, like, it was very spontaneous. It all came out very quickly. The next stuff we started writing was a little bit more advanced musically, and we wanted to spend more time on it, really polishing something really, really special. And I had wanted to involve some of the original members of the God Bombs. And Jabez had reached out to me, actually, because he's from Colombia. And he said that because of the pandemic, he ended up in Colombia because, there's more, it was, he could go around more there and go to the beach and stuff. So he was inviting people to record in Colombia. I had always wanted to go to South America and see where he was from, because I've been working with him for years. So this was a chance to go to Colombia, record a bunch of shit on like a nice budget, because all the studios, everything there is like so much cheaper than it is here, So we got to really like take our time with this album and we're working on making the best album possible.
No doubt. So
yeah, it made us be able to afford like the quality that we wouldn't necessarily be able to afford. And Jabez invited us, and he's from there. So it was amazing. And it was great to be with a native and have that experience and have his talent on our record, because I'm a fan of the first God Bombs album, even though I wasn't part of it. I always make jokes and I'm like, I think the God Bombs were better before I was in it. But I know I love the stuff that we write. I really do. But it was really, really great. It was like really, really great working with Jabez. I'm so stoked that we really got to like work with Jabez on this record. And we actually have songs on this. We chose to divvy it up into more than one. So we have so many songs. We have songs that we didn't release on Plague Songs that we wrote when we wrote Plague Songs. So we have like a pile of songs right now that I am really, really stoked. Songs that we had written over a year ago, over like a year and a half ago, maybe even at this point. And I think Jabez just helped us take them to the next level, because we were able to finally record live acoustic drums, which is something I've been talking about for over a year as like the next record. We have to get the live acoustic drums on it. We need it. I want it. And we were just able to do so many things and meet so many amazing, talented musicians and people in Colombia, that it was a really, really great experience. It was really awesome. And after being stuck inside for over a year, it was, I feel really grateful that we wound up in that position, so.
No doubt. So what was the prices like in Colombia? Like, what's the difference between recording something in Colombia compared to like
$3.
US?
Oh my God, it's insane.
$3 in Colombia is like $1.
Okay.
Is that how it goes? Right?
Yeah, but even with that conversion rate, it's still insane because it's like, you know, they're still charging less overall. So you could get a studio for an entire day for like $50 or less. Whereas here it's like, you know, I don't know, 50 an hour at the least, maybe 100 an hour at the minimum.
Right.
And then it adds up from there.
Right. So
yeah, and then your lodging is cheaper, the studio is cheaper.
Cheaper, everything.
And so where did y'all stay? Did y'all stay at like an Airbnb or what?
Yeah.
Jabeth had arranged like a house in the jungle that we stayed in this house in the jungle, and we recorded a bunch of songs by candlelight with solar panels. Like we had solar powered house. So we recorded in the jungle.
Out in the middle of like nowhere, like on the coast, and
it was like
Santa Marta
attacking us and shit. So we had to go by candlelight, and it was fucking wild. I was like playing drum machines by candlelight and shit. It was dope. There's a lot of like really cool live drum machine performances on this album too. It's a lot of live performance.
And then we went into the studio like once we got into Bogota. That's when we wound up going into a studio, and that's when we met Boris, which is awesome, and his girlfriend. She was visiting from Germany, and he recorded our live drums and you know, showed us around a little bit, and it was amazing. Very beautiful.
So outside of like financially, what was the reason for you guys to decide, all right, we're gonna take this shit to Colombia and do some stuff? Did you think like
Jabeth encouraged it? You know,
okay, Jabeth encouraged it, but like, did you think it was like going to spark something else within y'all creatively?
We wanted a different environment because, like I said, the Plague Songs album was done in the quarantine. So we already did an album in LA quarantine.
We've been stuck inside for a year together.
We want to do another album at the same
time. Writing together.
So we're like, let's go into nature. Let's get something like a different outside sort of energy.
Right. Because for me, like, I've been writing most of these songs that I got for Audio Sage that I'm dropping in the fall in the house. And I mean, I went out a few times. I went to a bar, went to restaurants, I went to Six Flags and shit. But that's really not going out. Like, for me, I need to be at the shows. I need to be with the people that fuck with my music to like really come up with some shit that's fire. And it's been tough. Was it tough for you guys to come up with some crazy shit in Colombia? Did you feel like the nature and everything that was going on with you hindering the hardcore style or the punk rock style that you guys have been doing already?
No,
it was really intense actually when we were staying in Santa Marta. Like we were literally in a house like up in the woods. Like there was trees and palm trees everywhere, and we could literally hear and see the ocean. But it was intense. Like we had a bug net. There's like mosquitoes, like out in nature. We were like climbing like 4 like sets of huge long stairs up with groceries. And I mean, it was like I got in shape being there. We had to climb up just to get to the house every day. If we went out and got groceries or something. The ocean was insane. I've never seen an ocean like that on the coast. It was like cliff mountains and just water like crashing consistently, just like crashing. It's like not necessarily somewhere you want to swim even because it's so intense. Like where we would go on this like private beach. Right. And there was cute little puppies running around that like that was their domain. They'd come up and greet you. It was like, it was a really beautiful but intense environment. As anyone knows, nature is beautiful and inspiring, but also very, very fucking intense.
Okay, did you guys write any songs there? Did you guys get inspired by anything that was there?
We wrote like 5 songs.
We wrote 5 songs in Colombia, and they ended up
from
being
scratch. And then we worked on a bunch as well that weren't finished. So we wrote a lot there.
No doubt. Justin, what you were saying?
the songs that we wrote in Colombia actually ended up being some of the more electronic, like electro songs, weirdly enough, because even though we were like in the jungle surrounded by nature and shit, I had all these drum machines like right in front of me that were all plugged in. So I just went crazy with the drum machines, and we wrote like these electro kind of like and trap type songs in the jungle. And then because the songs I had written here in LA were like really heavy, so we had the heaviest stuff already. So we were trying to fill it out with something that was a little bit more melodic and more dancey and more electronic. So we ended up writing more of that stuff in Colombia.
I felt like it was kind of nice because of us just like being out in this like beautiful paradise that was super intense. It was like, I don't know, it was like we were focused on just like everyday, like, I don't know, just like eating and just making music. We weren't really writing like in a studio per se. We were like in this, you know, like open space, like out in the middle of nowhere, kind of isolated. So I definitely think it brought like a completely different vibe. It was definitely, it brought out something different for sure. Like there's definitely a difference in the sound of the songs, I feel like, that we wrote there, which is really, really cool.
Nola and Starr Daddy, did you guys do any kind of like psychedelic drugs, any kind of peyote?
We did not do ayahuasca.
We did
ayahuasca.
We did.
A lot of people talk about ayahuasca going into the jungles of Colombia and things like that, but we did not because, because of COVID and stuff like that. Like people kind of like get sick off those types of things, and I don't think that was as much of a thing right now. But we did go out into the woods in the jungle and meet a witch, and we bought happy cookies.
Wait a minute. You mean that you met a witch out in the woods somewhere?
She lives there. She lives in the jungle.
She lives in the jungle and she's out there just making cookies, and you just said, fuck it,
yeah.
We'll take some
from natural ingredients. We climbed these huge rocks. Like
wait a minute though. Y'all taking witch cookies and y'all think that's okay? Like, shame on y'all. What the fuck do you think this is?
She was like stirring it in a cauldron and everything when we walked up. It was like straight out of
smoking. It was like we were in a movie. We didn't die though.
I
and those cookies did make me happy.
Okay, so what you're saying is the cookies had some type of properties that made you feel happy. Were there shrooms in the cookies? Was there weed cookies?
I think it was weed, but who knows? Maybe we were microdosed. Maybe that's why the tracks were so special.
Experience.
Only that witch knows.
Okay, so no psychedelics were really done outside of them witch cookies, right?
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. Nice guys, nice people. Nola, I'm not saying you're a guy, but I just say that.
It's okay. I say it all the time to people. I'm like, hey guys, and then people are like,
yeah. I'm not a guy. Nola, don't cancel me. Do not cancel me.
I'm not gonna cancel you. You're good.
But really, what do you feel about cancel culture? You guys make raunchy music. You make like some crazy ass. Like, I love what you do because it's art. You know, it's art. But today's society, it's like
actually sex work and things like that are on the up and up. So if anything, what we're doing is progressive, actually. In terms of that.
Wait a minute.
Want to get technical.
Nola, what are you talking about? Sex work is up and up. You talking about New York City being able to like do prostitution now? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Because that's the thing.
I'm talking about like dumping, stripping and stuff. I think there's a lot of like people pushing like positivity towards sex workers and fighting for their rights and things like that. And now I think there's always going to be people that are trying to come down on that, because there's always like a thing in our culture. There's a puritanical undertone in our whole culture because of the way we were established as a country, but and it's still very much there. But I would say
Nola.
in general, like, there's a push for that. So I don't personally feel that, I don't know, maybe it's the people I surround myself with. I don't necessarily always feel like what we're doing is even super edgy in terms of like whoop whoop. I don't think that like the whole dominant thing is that edgy, but I guess I just know a lot of weirdos. I guess it really is.
I fucking hate cancel culture.
Listen. I understand. Fuck cancel culture.
My opinion is fuck cancel culture. I don't know about what opinion is.
That's how I feel, but at the same time, it's like, you don't think it's that edgy? Nola, come on. Star Daddy's getting spanked on every other fucking video.
I mean, this is just another day in the life for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm out here on Venice Beach swallowing swords, and I come home and spank Star Daddy.
Which I fucking love. I fucking love the fact that you fucking swallowing swords and he's spanking Justin over here. He's just getting spanked that night. I love that shit. You know what I mean? It's just.
I want to say. I want to clarify.
Go ahead.
I think just for like the guys that are watching or whatever, or anyone watching, like I'm not completely a sub. I'm a switch. But like the reason that I portray a lot of sub type stuff in our art, and like I'm comfortable being spanked and dominated in these videos and stuff, is because I want to show people that can be empowering for men as well. And men don't always have to be the dominant one, the dominant figure, the way like the mainstream media tries to say we should be sexually. Right. That's why, but it's not like that 24/7 in our relationship.
No.
And also, yeah, I mean, as far as cancel culture goes, like for me, I'm really about freedom of speech. I'm really about freedom of expression. I'm from the Hunter S. Thompson school of thought, where it's kind of like anything goes. I believe in legalization of all drugs. I believe in legalization of prostitution. I believe that people need to have personal accountability, and mental health needs to be a focus, instead of trying to police everybody's behavior and say that if we just silence opinions that we don't agree with, then things that we don't like are going to go away. Because guess what? They ain't going to go away. You take Parler down off the App Store and Google. Guess what? There's going to be a whole bunch of angry dudes that are looking for a new place to congregate, and they're going to find a place. They're always going to find a place to express themselves.
Right. No,
yeah, I don't think like suppressing people's thoughts and speech is ever going to be a solution. And I do understand where some people feel like they are well-intentioned, trying to pull that shit. I get it. You know what I mean? Like if you want to like really break it down, it's like people are trying to, push back towards racism and homophobia and xenophobia. And it's like,
but you
all right, cool. Like I understand. Like I get that. I feel the same, but at the same time, when you shut people down because you don't agree with them, it stops the conversation.
Right.
And when you stop the conversation, it's not necessarily going to change anything.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like a lot of people have been trying to like push forward the positive message for all the other people, the queers, the different people in life. I get that. But a lot of it has been twisted and perverted in a way that you need to dominate every other type of society. And that's exactly what we were fighting against when we started to do these type of things.
It just starts to become a power struggle. And then it's not even necessarily about, I don't know. It starts to be a power hungry thing now, because it's like people on the smaller end of the spectrum or the smaller end of the chain, or maybe even smaller, social, like in it. Maybe they felt irrelevant in their life, or maybe they're from a social class, they're still struggling, whatever. It gives some people some sense of power that they can have over other people, I think it gets to that point where it's like, oh, we're going to monitor everything. We're going to, and it's like, well, then also it's like, who gets to decide where's the line and when does it stop?
Right.
Why do you get to destroy someone's life? And
right.
It always, and then when people are incorrect, then they're like, oh, sorry. But there's never really, when there's like repercussions on that person emotionally, or you've affected them financially or career wise. And then, then what?
Right.
Where's the bounce back for that person? It's probably not going to happen. You know what I mean? So like, to me, it's like things need to be dealt with in the proper channels sometimes and not in the public eye. It's like, also it's gotten to the point too where like you don't even really know what's true with the internet anymore either, because there's so much lies and bullshit, and people literally hear the first thing and they just believe it. It's kind of fucking out of hand. It's like really crazy. And people also don't realize that like monitoring freedom of speech and putting all these rules and stipulations, if you look at some communist countries where people really aren't allowed to have opinions, that people don't realize that it can go in the opposite extreme, and it can become a dangerous game, to monitor. You can't say that. The reason America had freedom of speech is so that to prevent that type of shit. Even if it's something you don't want to fucking hear, the reason it exists is to prevent that type of shit. But also, I think things get more and more complicated as there's more and more human beings in the world. A lot of systems don't work when there's too many people. So who fucking knows what's right, anymore? I don't know. That's why I'm not in politicians. That's why I'm writing music. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Yo, Justin, how do you feel about the cancel culture shit?
I mean, I'm against it. Like I said, I'm from like very much from like the Hunter S. Thompson school of thought of like, or Aleister Crowley, like do what thou wilt, so be the whole of the law. It's like, I think people need the freedom to fall on their face and fuck up and then face the repercussions, in the sense of like, if they have to go to drug treatment or something, fine, but like people don't do drugs. People don't do drugs, whether they're going to do it, whether it's illegal or legal. And it's the same with like people saying certain things. You can silence people, but then they're going to find some new platform, and all you're going to do is drive them underground. And then they're going to feel more like, they're rebelling against the system or whatever, because you're trying to silence them. It actually gives them power in a sense when you try to silence them. I think people should be allowed to say whatever. Like, I'm a big fan of Tom McDonald. I don't agree with nearly everything he says. Most of it I disagree, but I like the fact that he's pushing buttons and he's willing to say whatever.
Right. Yeah. For me, it's like Tom McDonald. Like I like his concepts that he's coming up with. Like obviously they're on the nose. They're the things that people are talking about, and I like that he's attacking those concepts. But at the same time, I don't really like his rapping. You know what I mean? Like I'm a rapper, so I'm looking at him like, dog, you're not really.
There's some stuff that he made that's like pretty cool, and then there's other stuff that I don't really like at all. And like Justin said, there's a lot of his stuff I don't even necessarily agree with what he is saying, but I do really like the idea of him just saying what he wants to say and not being scared to say it, because that's what it should be. Whether you like him or not, or like what he's saying or not, that's necessary to me completely. It's even if I don't agree with what he's saying, it's completely necessary for him to exist, so that things don't spiral out of fucking control. I completely think that it's necessary for people to be on all ends of the spectrum to balance out life. You don't have to fucking agree with everybody,
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's like, we need that type of person. And the problem today is that everybody is homogenized to be like the same person. It's like, you're the fucking same person.
That's
Why do I need to hear from you if this other person is the same fucking person saying the same fucking shit?
Yeah, when I see someone that I completely disagree with being like fucking bashed, and he's like, I don't care, I'm here, I'm doing my thing. To me, even if I completely disagree with what he's saying, to me, that's a more hopeful future because there just has to be people that don't give a fuck on both sides. You know what I mean? It can't just be on one side. There's no balance there. There's no balance there. It's like, and also if he is trolling people and there's these people that believe what he thinks, it leaves it open to have dialogue between both sides.
Right.
It's going to create more dialogue to have the song up there on YouTube and people debating about it versus
instead of shutting that whole side down and saying, we don't want to talk to you. We don't want you to exist. That's not creating dialogue. That's not going to change anything. So, but yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just feel like that's not what they want. What they want is for us to be all homogenized, all intertwined into the same shit.
Into one of two parties, one of two camps, and then we can argue till the fucking sun comes down. And then
no, we need like 30 parties like there is in Germany.
Money. As long as everyone's divided between these fake ass Democrat Republican lines that are fucking bullshit and made up, then they like ransack the country while everyone's arguing about dumb shit.
I'm all about Bernie Sanders personally. So
she's way more socialistic than I am, but we agree with the idea of everyone having a fair representation.
Germany has like 30 different parties or some crazy shit like that. That's what we need.
Right.
Have the party. It's just that we're funneled into one of two things because all the algorithms are designed to make us exist only in one of two mindsets. Either I'm liberal, I'm a libtard, I'm far left and I whatever, or I'm like a fucking conservative Trumpy person. And the reality is that people are way more complex than that. And people don't just break down into one of two fucking categories, but they want to think that we do on social media.
Right. We're way more nuanced than that.
Exactly.
There's way more different fucking parts of ourselves. Like for me, like certain things I'm conservative. I'm a minimalist. I like to do things bare bones as much as possible. But yeah, I do like to consume somewhat. I like to enjoy my music. I like to enjoy fucking roller coasters and shit.
But Coney Island roller coasters.
Right, the Cyclone is a fucking beast. It's still a fucking beast, regardless of that.
They just opened a new one called the Phoenix.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did they open that up yet? I'm gonna have to look that up.
I think so.
Not to get off topic here because I'm talking about me, but I'm a roller coaster enthusiast.
You're allowed to talk about you. It's your fucking podcast, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
I'm like smoke weed too.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So you guys are in California, right?
Yeah.
Have you been to Universal or California?
No, everything's been shut down. Everything shut down like a couple months after we moved here. So, but I'm kind of glad because I would have been stuck like
we went inside.
We went on like hikes and stuff. We went out into nature a lot.
We do a lot of nature shit. We're like hippies. We're like goth on one hand, and then the part of us people don't see is like very hippie-ish.
No. I see the hippie part. I know that you guys are fucking hippies.
Yeah.
Chains and whips and needles.
Chains and whips and
sword swallowing.
And
but honestly, we're in nature a lot.
But your fans look at you more goth. They don't look at you like I'm gonna go to Colombia to do this album where it's fucking like woodsy and like.
I think they do know
spirits in the fucking woods and shit in Colombia.
I think our fans are really open-minded and pretty diverse, just like how we are. Obviously, the main element is like the goth aesthetic, but there is a whole range. We have Juggalo fans. We have fans that are just like metalheads, punk kids, goth kids. I definitely feel like there's some fans that are more nature oriented and like, more like, I mean, it's all over the place, man. I've been touring for a while. So you get all kinds of people that fuck with us.
Right. Yeah. It's like me. Like I have super hippie motherfuckers. I have super rocker goths. I have juggalos. I have rapper dudes that are just like, I have fitness dudes that just want to listen to my shit when they work out. So I understand. That's the reason why I'm like, I feel like I'm Street Shaman, because like I could relate to any type of person in the world. Like I've been through different parts in the world. I did my fucking dirt in different parts of the world. I did my good in different parts of the world. So I know what it's like, good or bad. And that's kind of like what pushed me forward and is allowing me to do these things. You know, like I had you guys here, you're doing punk rock, industrial shit. I have rappers on, I have comedians on.
That's awesome.
It helps me. So what do you guys feel about a record deal? Are you guys looking for a record deal? Are you guys like looking like, all right, eventually we'll get this deal? Or you guys are just like making music, experimenting, touring, enjoying the fucking life, and
I mean,
venturing the world?
personally, from my perspective, like we've talked about it like a bunch. Like, would we? Should we? Could we? But I think at the end of the day, like we're kind of open. We're open to the idea, but we're also open to the idea that maybe we could just do it on our own. So I think for us, it's kind of like whatever reveals itself on our journey is what will kind of happen, you know? And like, we're going to make this work and we're going to make it happen, whether it's with or without someone else, you know, whether it's with or without a label, you know, it'd be great to have that promotion and maybe that push out into the world, because it certainly makes a difference when you're backed by money. But at the same time, there's people that are coming up that don't have that are making it as well, because now the internet has made that possible for people. You just have to kind of figure out your thing to get that push out into the world, that attention grabbing thing. So I don't know. I think we're open to either avenue. That's speaking from my perspective, but
okay. That's how you feel about that, because like, yeah, the labels could benefit you in some type of way. Do you feel like labels would benefit the God Bombs and would benefit Star Daddy in some type of way?
Well, first I want to say hello, Meryl, and to answer your question, we are the God Bombs, and thank you for tuning in. And as far as the labels, I mean, I don't know. I think we're the kind of band, it's like a cult band and it has a cult following, and it's more like we have a very specific thing that we do, and we really have to have like freedom of speech and have integrity in our music. I don't know that a major label per se would be giving us that. I think they would probably try to water us down. But I don't know. I mean, I think a smaller label could be cool, like an independent label, if it's the right fit for like a distribution deal, maybe just to throw us on some tours with other artists, a label like Metropolis or something could be cool.
Okay.
But I mean, I've talked to labels in the past. I just never really got an offer that I thought was really going to like propel me to a much higher level. So, I mean, everything I've done up to this point has been DIY, and, I've accumulated a really cool grassroots following and fan base, and we've kind of just done what we wanted. So it would have to be the right fit.
No doubt. So how was the DIY shit working for you? Were you guys, because I know my girl, she bought some panties from y'all.
Hell yeah.
She got some panties. But
yeah.
How was it? How is it for y'all? Do you guys make your own merch like in the house type shit, or do you guys like get out for printing?
Everything, pretty much everything in house. We design our own T-shirts. I designed this logo.
I designed this shirt.
Yeah, we like to wear our own merch, which is not a plug, but since we are wearing it, I will say it's available.
I was wearing this all day. We wear our own stuff a lot.
Justin, where you find that shit at? Where you find it at?
thegodbombs.com. So. Yeah, we make all our own shit, man, and it's cool, and it's like really rewarding, because it's like, you learn how to do everything yourself, and then you have the power. The power is not in the hands of some label or someone, who's gonna like exploit you financially, possibly, right? So It's cool to have that we have that control and stuff. But it is a lot of work, it's a lot of work. I've been booking my own tours, sometimes I'll work with booking agents and stuff.
We're doing the jobs of like 10, 20 people each, you
But
know?
yeah,
Right.
Like I'm doing the makeup on all of us for every music video. I'm doing everyone's hair.
I mean,
we're sitting down and
publisher.
creating ideas. I'm doing designs. He's doing designs. We have like an in-house printer, Jean. She does all of our screen printing. She lives in Florida. We also do some stuff through Printful, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of hats. Sometimes I'm like, I'd be really relieved to just have someone do my makeup and my hair,
Right.
or theirs,
Right.
so I don't have to do it.
That's the thing about the labels, because the labels would help you out with like makeup. They would help you out with the merch.
A lot of
like
stuff.
That.
But yeah, then you lose a little control too sometimes. It depends though. It depends. Everyone has like a different deal. And sometimes some labels that are smaller, you still have more. They're a little less hands-on.
Right.
It depends what level you're at, I guess, and the size of the label.
So yes to the label or no to the label?
Maybe.
Come talk to us.
Maybe.
Depends. Depends.
Options.
Okay. So how do you guys feel about UFOs? Do you believe in them? Because now the news is talking about UFOs all the fucking time. But do you guys believe in the UFOs, or do you think this is another conspiracy theory going on with the fucking government? What do you think?
Our new album, Supernovas, that's coming out this fall, is very much alien themed. And we are definitely inspired by the idea of UFOs and extraterrestrials and like life outside of Earth. I mean, I think it's definitely something that inspires me a lot. Do I believe in it? Yeah, I believe in anything. If anything exists as an idea, then it exists as reality, right? You know how many millions of dollars the Joker has brought in, even though the Joker is just an idea that someone came up with? That shit has brought in fucking billions of dollars of revenue, and everyone in the world knows who the Joker is. So is the Joker real? Absolutely, the Joker's real. So are aliens.
Okay, Nola, how you feel?
I think that this world is way too complex of a place to arrogantly think that we are the most intelligent life forms in this universe. That's all I'll say about that.
No doubt. Okay, so here's the last question. What's the plans for the God Bombs? Are you guys planning to do some more tours? I know you got this album. I know you did the album. Is this the album that you're promoting now, or are you about to promote this shit soon? And are you guys going on tour?
We are currently working on an album called Supernovas. It will be the first of a series of 3 albums that are a trilogy that tell a story. This one is very much extraterrestrial themed. Okay. And we do have shows coming up. We have a show August 21st. We're performing at Apox East, apoxeast.com. That's APOX East.com. That's a pop festival in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We also have a show.
What part of Pennsylvania?
That shit's in the sticks, bro.
Okay.
It's like fully immersive. Everybody dresses up like Mad Max and shit. There's going to be fucking flamethrowers. There's going to be fucking craziness happening everywhere, like live action role play type
So
shit.
if you just look up Apocalypse Festival, we'll be promoting it on the God Bombs Instagram or the God Bombs. I guess we'll be promoting on the website, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, all that. And then we're playing.
Probably have it on our website.
We're performing at the Unconvention in November as well, which is in
New Jersey.
In New Jersey, which is sort of a 3-day kind of like
our guitarist partner. She's throwing that.
Yeah, Chloe DK is doing that. So we have those 2 shows. We have the album coming out this fall. We're probably going to release the first single and a video for it sometime in late July.
Okay.
And I think in LA we'll be possibly performing
in October.
I think at Drac House or something.
Yeah, we have a show at Drac House in October, which is a goth event here, but we don't know the exact date yet.
So we're slowly kind of like, we're still tying up stuff, working on music videos for the next album, and slowly starting to book shows as things seem safer.
Yeah, and if people want to support us and see what we're doing behind the scenes, we have an Indiegogo, indiegogo.com/thegodbombs. That's all the behind the scenes of all of our recording and the making of our album and like everything that we're doing here in LA and around the world in Colombia and stuff. And you can join that and support us. And all that money goes towards the making of our new album. We're also going to be having a fundraiser soon to promote the new album.
No doubt.
Well, that's what the Indiegogo is. The Indiegogo is the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're going to have a raffle that I think we were going to announce tomorrow. So they could win a couple items, things that we've worn in music videos and stuff. We're kind of doing that to kick off the launch of our Indiegogo. So
yeah.
Okay. No doubt. Hey, I appreciate y'all for coming by, stopping by.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Let them know where they can find you.
thegodbombs.com or at thegodbombs on Instagram, facebook.com/thegodbombs. Just type the God Bombs.
Or Patreon.
Yep.
Or Indiegogo. Just look up the God Bombs on every and any platform. Also TikTok. I'm going to start doing the TikTok. We just bought some funny props today that we're going to try to play around with some of the themes that we have as a band, but make it a little more lighthearted and comedic to try to pull people into the God Bombs world and make it comedically relatable.
No doubt. So thank y'all for stopping by. Thank y'all for your time and attention.
Thank you so much. It was great seeing you again.
I appreciate y'all. Yo, we're gonna have to do some type of tours.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm gonna concoct some shit and we're gonna do some type of touring somehow. I appreciate y'all. Yeah. We're gonna do this again for sure. Thanks everybody that came through. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Everybody coming through with the love. Appreciate y'all. Oh shit, she got the sticker. She's showing the sticker. Yo, my girl's got the panties though. I gotta get me some panties. Somebody got some panties of me somewhere. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your time and attention.
So
this the Street Shaman Podcast, the God Bombs, Nola, Starr Daddy, Shamanic Poe, and we out of here, motherfucker.